ZThund. Why do you... You are not prepared! You are not!
This guy's toast.
Leroy! Not prepared!
Goodbye.
All right, and what do we have here tonight? We have a lovely salty Saturday. So this is your host, Saku, and we have a few other casters that have decided to join with me. So Donde was unable to make it due to some fam stuff. So I'd like to introduce Dano, who's been on the show quite a few times. How you doing tonight, Dano?
Doing very well. Can't complain.
And then we have the magical guy we call RonMexico, Sage's favorite person. I like the little treat that you guys did with them on Last Saloon Standing. That was pretty epic. So
Yeah.
little peekaboo going on there. So
Well, thank you for the kind introduction. Thanks for having me on.
no problem. So we do have an interesting bunch of matches that are playoff placement. I guess standing wise to see where people are going to place for week 1 of the playoffs. And we were chatting before stream where things are pretty interesting. Everything's pretty tight from three down. So, what you guys' thoughts?
Yeah, I think Gold is in like a crazy spot, like on the last week here in the last couple days of the season, which is super exciting for us and then a little stressful for the players, I would imagine. But yeah, I mean, I'm sure people who like can do math and understand stuff would like know better. But as far as I can tell, basically it's win and they're in, and then if you lose, it's going to get dicey, maybe. So I'm pretty stoked about this first match.
Yeah, this is pretty exciting stuff. There's some heavy playoff implications here. It looks like there's about 5 teams battling it out for 3 spots, with 4th and Inches already locked up. So this match here can go a long way towards deciding who makes it in and what the seeds might be.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
So-
it's going to be a fun one.
Exactly. And with our first match tonight, it's going to be Zerotio from Pod People, if you didn't see the graphic already, with versus dragonrider from Wet Woman. And it's going to be the Legacy series, which is using the Conquest format, which is when you win, you can't use it again, and you keep powering through until it's best of 5. So
And this is Legacy, which means closed deck list. So
correct. Yeah.
we'll be kind of learning right along with you all what actual decks they're bringing, with the exception of probably Zerotio, who's going to be bringing OTK Paladin, because that's what Zerotio does.
Watch this be the one time he brings like Mech Paladin or something.
Mech Paladin lines up really well against Dragon Rider, I'm just saying. So.
Yeah. He's a teammate of mine, so I can't divulge. So, even though I'd like to. So I do have both bands, but I just wanted to get your guys' quick opinion on their lineups right now. So with Zerotio bringing Hunter, Paladin, Priest, Warrior, and Dragon Rider bringing Hunter, Mage, Rogue, and Warrior. Dano, what do you think the bands are going to be?
If I didn't know the players, I would probably think different. But knowing Zerotio and knowing his just like obsession with OTK Paladin, and then just his is actually really, really good at OTK Paladin as well. I imagine he has to ban the rogue just to get Flick out of there.
Mhm.
And then if I'm Dragon Rider, I don't even want to get anywhere near that Paladin. I'm just banning it. And if it's a Mech Paladin, it might be the right ban anyways. So I think either way, getting that Mech Paladin out of the way is a good idea. Or getting the Paladin out of the way is a good idea.
Ron?
Yeah, I agree from Zerotio's side. The ban is probably rogue, or maybe more accurately, Zerotio would say I ban Flick.
Yeah.
And then on Dragon Rider's side, I could see potentially a Hunter ban. And also, don't ban that Paladin of Zerotio's at your own risk. I made that mistake, and that was my loss to him in Legacy earlier this season. So I think a Paladin ban is always on the table when you're playing against him. Got to be on your toes.
Yeah.
Well, I do have the bands in, so I'm just going to do the transition here. And Zerotio's Hunter's banned, and Dragon Rider's Rogue is banned.
All right.
So,
Left the Paladin up.
left the Paladin up.
Bold strategy. Let's see if it pays off for her.
Love that movie. Well, I kind of wonder if it holds up, and I just don't want to know. It's like I'm just gonna enjoy the memories.
Yeah, no, just keep quoting it. You don't need to watch it again.
It's a bold move, Con, to see if it pays off.
So now that we know the bands, I'm just going to double check to see if the players are ready there, and then we will start the casting magic that we have here tonight.
Oh, magic, that's one way to put it.
It is. All right.
Yeah, these are two top-notch players, though, so I am just more than a little bit jazzed to be able to cast this one for sure.
Oh, absolutely. This is an exciting one to see.
And Zerotio has just had himself a heck of a season, like 6-1, right? I think that's what he's at right now.
He is.
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah. He's been a monster this season for sure.
I had a season like that last season, and you just get to a point where you feel like whatever you do is just going to be right.
Yep.
So, yeah, it's kind of hard to kind of pick against him at this point, just because when you're feeling a meta like that, and you feel like you have you're getting the play time you need, and you just really kind of rocking it. It's just you feel really, really good. So Dragon Rider is in kind of a tough spot, I would guess.
Potentially, but I wouldn't sell her short. She's at 4-2
all.
herself. She's having a great
No.
season, and definitely a formidable opponent. So this is going to be definitely a match for the ages here.
Some fireworks and her fresh out of Anaheim too, like within a week and a half or so.
Yep.
So.
Yep. And she did pretty well though, except for her streamed match, which was
Yeah.
unfortunate, where Cho got the best of her.
Yeah, it's one of those things. So, but at least her teammate there did very well. That some guy that kind of hangs around the league. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, she did really well too. It was just the first
did.
match was streamed and
Yeah.
got beaten, and I think she did really well the rest of the way out.
She hung in there. I think she was 50-50. I don't remember the stats too much, but it was good to see them play. So.
Zerotio. All right, and then we're in the whoa.
Oh, they're right in right
Yeah,
now.
looks like the match started. We got a
Did not see
warrior
that coming.
on Dragon Rider's side and a priest on Zerotio's side to lead off.
So for our viewers, we got Dragon Rider on the bottom and Zerotio's on top there.
This looks like a Highlander warrior for Dragon Rider and your typical Resurrect Priest without the quest for Zerotio.
So what's our numbers for this particular matchup?
I believe it's slightly favored in the warrior side, but this is going to be a grindy match.
I think this is because the way that priest wins is just by just making sure you can't do anything at all, and warrior doesn't care if it does anything. It's just going to armor up and armor up and armor up. So This one is pretty favored, I think, for the warrior, like Ron just said. So
Interesting, though, that Zerotio actually has the Bad Luck Albatross in hand, so can get that down early and shut down the Highlander effects early. And if that Albatross keeps getting resurrected, then that could spell some serious trouble for Dragon Rider.
yep, and it's so much fun to do that as well, right? It's my favorite part of the.
All right, here we go. Are we going to see a heel face threat?
Didn't.
Missed
I'm a little
the
disappointed.
sad.
Very sad. You're not even kidding.
Well, these are two very nice people. I guess they're refraining from the mean battle here.
I think that's just wrong, but I think it's polite to and greet, isn't it?
All right, now we should be seeing the Albatross come down for Zerotio here.
And hello.
There's a lot of talk about this in Schoolstone this afternoon about the stat.
And up to Dragon Rider if she wants to maybe shield block and keep drawing, or slam a quartermaster that doesn't directly contest the board, but still gets a lackey in hand and gains some armor.
Go ahead and shield block, yeah.
Going with the card draw.
And I'm sorry, Ron, but there's no box in this particular match.
No puzzle box.
No puzzle box for you.
Either side. It is very disappointing. Although on the bright side, the mage was not banned, so we do have a chance of a puzzle box coming up.
One can only hope. It's just the best card in every mage deck.
Yeah.
And the fact that it's not getting played in a lot of mage decks, it just makes me feel sad.
It's sacrilegious is what it is.
What's the point?
All right. Makes sense. We see Mummy come down, clear up the Albatross.
Here we go.
And there's another one from the top deck.
Just drop it. Just drop it.
Albatrosses for days. Although, honestly, the Infiltrator might just be the better play here.
The less fun play. And if you're playing this priest deck, it's all about the fun. There we go. Do it. Yes, that is the right play.
Oh my goodness.
Look at
Along
this.
with the Spirit of the Dead to get more Albatrosses.
I love it.
Zerotio saying, you are never going to get your Highlander effects.
Enjoy your birds. This is such a silly fun deck. I know people that really don't like it. I have so much fun playing this priest deck. It's just, I giggle to myself the entire time. It's just, I just love every moment of it.
Schoolstone was talking about this card itself being pretty disruptive, regardless if it's Highlander or not. Just because of the draw, and you're waiting for your own win conditions coming through.
It's aggressively statted, and it puts trash minions in your opponent's deck. What's not to like?
Unless you flick it.
Yeah, those are some next level plays there. Going up against a priest, and they put like a million Albatrosses in your deck, and then you just flick one of those 1/1s, and they're all gone.
Just feeling real good.
Just one more reason why Zerotio on his side is saying, I ban flick.
Yeah. Yeah, which is, also banning Edwin because, boy.
Oh yeah, that card needs to be Hall of Fame badly.
I am so done with Edwin.
I agree with Lotus Knight in the recent streams talking about that.
Oh, you should have been in. I was in Discord the other day, and I was while I was playing a match, and I got like, it was a hero match, so it was last hero standing, and then 2 games in a row, just giant Edwin, and I just lost my mind. I was like, I cannot handle this card anymore. I just can't do it.
Yeah.
We need a Hall of Fame, and I'm over Edwin.
So some interesting options here on this turn. I wonder if she just drops the Dynamatic and Whirlwinds just to get it out of the way. Ember Scale Drake could be reasonable, as well as, maybe going Quartermaster and Flunky or something. You'd lead with Flunky, but a lot of options. Looks like she's going to go with the Dynamatic. And do we see a Whirlwind too, or just going to hold off on that? A heal would still directly trade with the board, so you don't necessarily have to.
Just like any other player.
Just say, get that minion out of here. Gonna use all my mana effectively.
Yeah. But that just
See
sets
what-
up a lot of the quartets in the pool.
But there are already 2 Albatrosses in the pool, so who knows what's going to go on with this death pool for the priest here.
Black Knight coming into hand here.
Interesting draw there. I don't know if you really want to play it, even though you could effectively clear the minion again. And on Zerotio's side, it looks like the Katrina very likely would come down on 8.
Oh, yeah.
So will Dragon Rider be expecting the Katrina and maybe want to avoid getting the 2/6 in the death pool?
I like the flunkies because you can put up a garbage minion, right? And maybe.
Well, there's a big beefy 10/10 if she wants to go pure stats. Abomination is an interesting pick, and I think the Warden would be terrible.
I must choose.
You just go ahead and drop the Abomination. Oh, there you
Armor
go.
7 instead.
Oh, gotta take care of it. Okay, I like that.
And still electing to kill the minion here. It does just remove a low value target, so a good way to play around that death rattle. And on Zerotio's side, probably just Katrina.
Yeah, get it down right. You like everything that's in your res pool right now, so there's no reason not to drop
Yeah,
it.
I mean, more Albatrosses to mess with the res pool, although it trades terribly with the 3/1.
Care to dance with death?
And then the other ones are quite good. Oh, I forgot that one was even.
Dakota, the spirit, that's brutal.
I mean, it's still not that bad because Katrina's a priority
Katrina
target
goes
to
in.
kill, and when you kill Katrina, that just shuffles a 1-cost Katrina back in Zerotio's deck, so still really not a bad outcome there.
What now?
We could potentially just see a trade and a Deathwing come down.
Does Deathwing touch a stealth minion?
It does. It
Cool.
just attacks all other minions that are on the board, so it's
Right.
one of the ways to kill the stealth.
That wing kills the spirit.
And maybe it kills the stealth first?
Yeah.
It does. Wow. What a play from Dragon Rider. RNGesus is smiling down. He says, no 1-mana Katrina in the priest deck.
Go on, get out of here.
Yeah, I think you just go ahead and play Xerx and get the rest of your minions out, don't you?
Yeah.
But, I mean, I'm pretty sure Priest
Or
wants
Time
to
Rip, I
play
guess.
Cloning Gallery
Must
as soon as
consider.
possible. Granted, Mass Res is still... Yeah, okay. That's reasonable as well. Since, you know, you've got some good minions to get in the pool.
And got the,
Missed on the Katrina, though. Probably not the minions exactly that Zerotio was looking for.
Do you just drop the birdie and the crier just to...
I feel like we see the Quartermaster, the Albatross, the Town Crier, the Lackey that gets generated just to spread the board as wide as possible and pray that the Death Rattle does not hit Deathwing.
I'm in this thinking the same thing. Thinking the same thing.
None.
Ah, okay.
Like Deathwing survives.
This was actually maybe the better play strictly because if you traded with the Deathwing, then not only do you not get to send the 12 face, which you really want to do, but it also would have died to the Albatross. So I think Dragon Rider selected the better play.
Yep, I think for sure. Especially because she won the...
Just,
The
well,
free-
yeah, take the 75% chance that your Deathwing is not going to get hit by the Death Rattle.
Hmm.
And now it puts Zerotio in a bit of a tight spot.
Wow.
Going with Albatrosses for days. Looks like Breath of the Infinite is going to come out here just to deal with the 12-2, which makes a lot of sense.
All the birds.
All the albatross,
Albatrees.
albatrices.
With the board the way it is right now, this seems like probably the time to just play Dr. Boom.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. How many birds do we have? That's a lot of birds in deck right now.
Yeah, that Zephyrus is not going to be active for a
Nope.
while.
Yeah, it's a worthless Zephyrus. It's a 3/2, I guess. So there you go, in case you need that.
There's somewhere between like 8 and 10 little birdies in the deck, I think. I wasn't keeping track.
No, so we had, we drawn one, so there was 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So 9 left now, I think. We drew one.
And Zerotio with the typical priest game-winning play of cloning gallery. Although the Abomination deals with the entire wide board pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
You always got to discover that mech. Not great options.
Not particularly.
Replicating Menace is reasonable just because it spits out 3 more microbots and you can use them all to keep clearing up that board.
Or turning him over to clear up one of your reborns.
Looks like replicating is the pick.
This will break your fall.
Not a bad lackey to get.
And going with the Abomination here.
Zilliax
Saying,
under the Zilliax?
you want to do any damage to me, your whole board's got to die first anyway. Pretty much. I mean, there's a reborn that would come back.
Yeah, I mean, get out of the way, right?
I wonder.
So and potentially even just Grave Rune on the Cartoot to gain the max amount of health. You could keep Grave Runing the Albatross and say, have more birds.
Enjoy your burst. I mean, drawing 1/1s, you're never going to win, but...
And honestly, Grave Rune on a Zilliax too would have been an interesting option, especially a Grave Rune Zilliax your Zilliax. But going with this play, it's going to clear up the minion guaranteed on Dragon Rider's side and put a bunch of Cartoots in play. So, pretty good as far as health is concerned. Zerotio is not in any danger of dying anytime soon.
That's a nice little 9-mana 8/8 there. Does nothing.
And here's Dragon Rider holding 2 completely useless Highlander cards that are just stats.
Yeah, I mean, you just gotta hope for the generator mech, you know? You just really need hard.
Yeah, this is definitely going to be a game of trying to find the value where it's presented.
Mm-hmm.
Zerotio rips a time rip.
Ooh.
Zerotio is better off he's going to be, because if he can just start generating value through that, he'll be in a great spot. So
Medic is going to be a sneaky card to be holding back and drop right when it looks like he's in danger of dying.
yep.
Is this
Not
actual...
much to do.
Yeah, I was just going to say, is this actually winnable for Dragon Rider right now? It's
Well,
an
I mean,
uphill
she
battle.
is winning the fatigue battle.
True.
This would be a good time for a master
There's always a
plan.
chance that Galakron's at the bottom of the deck, which I think is the way he's gonna, or she's gonna win at this point. Just because, I mean, it's not like the priest has a whole lot of like great cards to play, but if they can start if they just get them, you know, make a beast each turn, that's pretty good.
Okay, then.
Yeah, this is just.
It's a good use of the menace there, clearing up another Cartoot and just lessening the amount of minions on the board.
Played on the correct side. Good job, Dragon Rider.
That would have been a sneaky brilliant thing if it had actually pulled the Direwolf Alpha, enabling the trade into the higher health Cartoot.
Yeah, I mean the minion lackey's been around long enough where you would think more people would just play that correctly, but I always see it played on the right side of the board. Which is
Precision.
It's just such a low probability. People, I think, just forget that that's an option that exists, that you can get a dire wolf. You never get it when you play it correctly. It only comes out when you place it the wrong way. It's the secret of the dire wolf.
That's not how that works.
He's a fickle one.
Oh, the
Well,
bird
picking up a
drawn.
nice hero power here that is going to help deal with the board a little bit. And at this point, I mean, why not get more birds?
Yeah.
Another option, though, obviously
This would
holding
be
the
a good
Dragon
time
Maw
for a master
is
plan.
to ignore the bird potentially and just go ahead with dealing with the reborn minion and the Ziliax.
Kind of where I'm at. So you hero power the Ziliax, then just
Okay, then.
trade into the reborn, and then just Dragon Maw.
Well, your Dragon Maw is going to clear up all of your own minions to where I don't know if the trades really are all that relevant.
I
Could have actually left
one
up
of them
a
did, so.
could have left up a Ziliax and killed the Albatross instead, but probably correct to kill the Ziliax just so that it doesn't get grave ruined. I don't know if Zerotio runs one or two of those. Or wait, actually, he's already played both of them, hasn't he?
Yeah. Yep. Play one on an Albatross and the other on.
Yeah, so stats-wise, it may have actually been correct just to kill the Albatross and leave up the Ziliax, but at the same time, it hardly matters. This Talanji's an interesting pickup.
Oh, so that's just to play with Galakron, right? You just get a bunch of minions and you drop that, and you get a whole bunch of more.
Absolutely. That's going to be a massive value burst in the very late game from Zerotio if he's able to set it up that way.
Okay, then.
Do you just play the Dragon DQ Alex right now?
Dragon Rider's running out of options here,
Precision.
but this does still clear up the board and develop slightly and continue to gain armor. And now down to holding only the Highlander cards with who knows how many Albatrosses. Anyone
We're
out
still
there
at
is
9
tracking it.
plus. 9+ Albatrosses still, so according to my deck tracker, there's a long way to go before those cards are active. Here comes another. Yep, there it is. Like, you just play those for stats. I don't think you're ever gonna get just...
And yeah, this is looking like a pretty tough spot for Dragon Rider to be in here.
Oh, we just hit 9. Okay, we are in single-digit birds in the deck.
Oh wow.
Attention, single-digit birds in the deck. I mean, until the 4 more birds get in the deck, but...
Right. Currently 13 non-birds. And
there we go.
make that 11 birds. And 13 birds after the trade.
This is fun. I like that keep track of this.
Okay. So now Dragon Rider's deck is 50% Albatross.
Yeah, exactly 50%. You just, yeah.
And it looks like Zerotio is saying you're down to basically just birds. I'm going to throw a 7/5 out here and see how you can deal with it.
Yep.
At which point, in my experience, Dr. Boom finds the mech hero power and the 4/5 guy that deals 10 damage.
Laser Yeti? Yeah. Always Laser Yeti.
Also an excellent pickup here. Not a bird, but a Molten Breath, allowing an easy clear of Talanji. And the hero power can clear up the 3/1 as well. So Zerotio is basically out of cards to play.
There it is.
Meanwhile,
Two-mana
Dragon
Rider.
Rider.
Laser Yeti.
with a delivery drone, hero power, and most likely another little birdie coming out here.
There it is. Okay, down to 12.
See what the button does. And the nullifier's quite a good card there. I think that would be my pick.
Magic
And then you can just go ahead and clear up the 3/4.
Oh,
Pushing damage again. Oh my goodness.
kind of. Kind of like just but like magnetizing it and sending it face. To be honest, are you really worried about that 3/4?
I think it's reasonable just to get the minion off the board, but either play is debatable. It looks like Dragon Rider's just going for the full board control game plan at this point. Just, you need to do something to deal with my board, or I'm just not going to let you stick anything and hit you in the face. And recognizing that, you know, the 1/1 probably doesn't do much of anything here on this board. This is going to need to be a board clear from Zerotio at some point, and until that point, just leave the board as it is. Send that damage upstairs. And another non-bird draw here.
Still 11 birds in the deck.
Either the 3/1 or damage the
This will be
3/4,
a good
or if
time
she
for a
just
mystic
elects to
plan.
send the 4/5 into the 4 health.
I like this.
Going with this plan, sending max damage face, I would expect. No, actually still just dealing with the board. Maybe just to get it in the res pool for, again, for weaker res effects. It's also untargetable, which is sneaky quite good against that penance in Zerotio's hand.
Zerotio with the straight up pass.
Yeah, just gonna sit back and wait for the board to get scarier.
Yeah, I mean, I don't hate it. Thinking he's gonna be Plague of Wrathing anytime soon. So Plague of Death, sorry.
Res Priest versus Highlander Warrior featuring Albatrosses forever. You know, exciting stuff here to lead off the stream.
I think we're to 10. I think we're to 10. And I think we just all can be thankful that this is a specialist and that we're only doing this game once.
That's right.
You know, heal pass. Look at that. Look at that. Oh, that's it. That's 9. We are at 9. That's exciting.
I suppose. And Dragon Rider says, why not? I'll throw another birdie on the board.
Yeah, I mean,
Okay, so
Mass
at this
Hysteria?
point,
yeah.
Mass Hysteria finally comes down. And the trades went the worst possible way for Zerotio. He's thinking, there's no way this 4/2 lives. And yet it lives. Actually, I wasn't really counting because I was mostly just bored. But that was a great play by Dragon Rider, putting an odd number of minions on the board with that last Albatross, specifically to play around Mass Hysteria with the chance that that 4/1 would still live.
It was incredibly heads up. It was just, I was like, keep an Albatross in hand, huh? And then I was like, that's just much smarter than me.
I've once again lost count of the birdies. But a mech whelp looks really good here.
I like
that
the
will
whelp.
probably force one of these Plague of Deaths.
Yep. I'd say for sure.
I would be very surprised if Dragon Rider elected a Skaterbot or a Spark Engine.
I think you just. Yeah, there we go. It's like just probably trade the 4-1 for the 2-2.
Directly die to the Cartoots, so you might just want to smack that in there and use the 7/7 so that you can push 4 damage face, but no, she elects to keep the health on the... I mean, Caster Vision tells us that Plague of Death will come down, but maybe she's thinking Zerotio still hadn't drawn one, and there were 2 in the bottom 4 of the deck. Otherwise, I'm a bit surprised by that play. I think I would have preferred sending 4 to the face.
I would have, yeah, I think I would have played the same way Dragon Rider did, but I like where you're at, and then we're gonna see Galvatron come down to kill him.
But Zerotio still holding back on the Plague of Death, finds the Galvatron and a different way around removing that minion.
Now this is interesting though, right? Because we're getting close to the end of Zerotio's deck, and just only now found the Galvatron. So
this is
fatigue
true.
Going to be a thing.
Fatigue will be very relevant in this game, provided Zerotio doesn't find some heal cards.
And that's just going to stay dead in the hand forever.
Oh, and now
Like that a
Lazul
lot.
can actually give Zerotio a Zephyrus or a Dragon Queen.
Right away. Find Zephyr, find Dragon Queen.
What a pull off the hero power here.
This is so unfair. Just play it. Why are we not playing it? There we go.
Future is clear. Your demise be near.
Oh, now you gotta
Options. Which one to take? With
Yeah,
the
I
health
like
as high
you.
as it is, I think Dragon Queen is probably the pick.
Yep, I'm with you there. I think you just kind of, armor up.
It seems reasonable to remove the minion that just got on the board. Both players are going to gain armor and a weapon. Zerotio at 33 health, effectively. Dragon Rider at, my goodness, 68. Just sending the damage face, not removing the minion. Not worried about the 3-2.
I like that. It's going to be cleared up next time. So.
Holding a Brawl and a Plague of Wrath
Yep.
seems actually quite reasonable to leave it on the board in case a stronger minion comes down, like, for instance, the Dragon Queen.
How in the world is Dragon Queen not active?
There are 2 duplicates in Zerotio's bottom 2 cards. Those bottom 2 are the same card. But I'm not sure if Zerotio would want to play maybe the Dragon Queen, but not the 0-mana dragons, because Lazul also told him that Dragon Rider's here holding a Brawl. Yep. So if Zerotio does go wide, that Brawl can easily come down. I think here is another Mechwell pick.
Yeah.
Just take that 9 damage in rush, a 2/2 that can die to the minion on board,
Okay,
and
then.
if you attack in with the 7/7, it would actually die to the death rattle from the Chrono Breaker.
So do you trade your face into the 3/2 and then
You could just leave the Mechwell up.
Again in the 7/7.
Surprising does not, probably because the Mechwelp was going to die and just want to clear up the board. Instead, elects the Spark Thrill here. Clears the minion and has some 1/1 rushers. Gonna use them to kill the Zool. And more tiny incremental face damage.
Cards.
Life and hope of
Now we finally see the Highlander effect is active. We know the last card in Zerotio's deck is another convincing infiltrator. And those are some very good dragons to find. A dragon that gives you more dragons seems good. A dragon that changes half of that 30 health down lower than where it started from. Not too relevant, when Dragon Rider's sitting at 65, but could wind up being useful. Now some interesting decisions on Dragon Rider's side. With an 8/8 on board, that's not a minion you want to be taking damage from consistently.
This would be a good
Yeah, I think
time
you
for a
just go ahead
master
and
plan.
summon your 1/1s and then Plague of Wrath.
Reasonable to, I mean, Brawl and Plague of Wrath kind of do close to the same thing. Brawl has some luck involved where you could low roll, but it would be a guaranteed clear with the Micro Squad and the Plague. Going with the Brawl instead.
I feel like you got a guaranteed way to use the.
And it is the worst possible roll on Dragon Rider's side now.
Well, at least Dragon Rider has,
Of cards.
it's a good
I
place
think
to
I would have preferred the Plague of Wrath there because specifically that hero power was up.
Yep.
And
That's what
you
I was
could
thinking.
have killed 2 minions, left a minion behind, but maybe because of the guaranteed nature of the clear, Dragon Rider was thinking, I'm gonna Plague of Wrath a board that's scarier. Now
Find your
some
laser Yeti.
more difficult options. Going with the drone again.
Yuck.
Not ideal options here.
These are all kind of hot garbage.
Yeah, they're not what Dragon Rider was looking for sure.
If anything, the
This would be a
09
good
would probably be
time
the
for a
best.
master plan.
Yep.
Just going with some more survivability. Does she attack with the weapon and take damage just to generate a lackey, or is she going to pass on the weapon? See what lackey we find. Once again, not ideal. Was probably hoping for a spell lackey there.
Yeah. We're in fatigue. Oh, hello, stats.
4/7 when your opponent is not close to being capable to heal. Seems okay.
Yep.
Dropping the Tyrant to clear up the board and sending quite a bit of damage face to chip away at that armor.
Still no way to take care of this board.
There's one thing.
There's an option.
An option.
She may want to still try to find a spell lackey with that chance by swinging again before using the Super Collider, but Super Collider could be very effective here.
You want to take that damage again this turn?
That's a lot of damage coming in. The
Still got
armor, 7 armor only helps so much.
Yep. And Super Collider is a 50-50, right? So.
Winds of the
Considering you see
south.
him.
Come to my aid.
Taunt and Divine Shield. That would be terrible. Because
That would
he has
just
the-
die
just
immediately
die,
to
yeah.
the 2/4 infiltrators. So Taunt Divine Shield, I think, would be possibly one of the worst options to take. This is looking like it's got to be Rush Wind Fury.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
Detect
Which it is.
Kurtux.
Yeah. I think you have to consume your base. Don't
You,
you?
you can also use the weapon to kill one of the Reborns and then armor up. It looks like what she's doing. I think got it all off. And another Goblin Lackey. Again, disappointing for Dragon Rider. Hoping for spell lackeys here.
Well, this Alex is about to. This hitting for the second or the third time now.
Third.
Third time. Holy smokes.
Ground Hero. It looked like Dragon Rider was pretty firmly in control of this game until that came through and set up the board that we're looking at now.
And you know, she had the clear, I think, which is probably the frustrating bit.
The brawl was a brutal outcome. It could have been a 1-1 on Dragon Rider's side that survived. Instead, she's taken about 24 damage from that Dragon Queen. And I bet she's regretting the Plague of Wrath not being played.
Because I mean, no way to activate it as well. I mean, because you play both the activators from
Go
the
ahead
deck.
and press the button.
So.
Yeah, I mean, Mecha'thun, it would be a 10-10 rusher, but that Death Rattle's not going to help you with 11 cards, mostly Albatrosses still in the deck.
6 of them being Albatrosses.
Kaboom Bot may be the pick, and we might see that paired with a Plague of Wrath. Maybe the Boombot hits the Infiltrator, and you pray that the bomb damage hits the Dragon Queen.
I like it. I think you have to go there, right?
Well, Super Collider actually could have
This
been the
would be a
option
good time
instead
for a
of
master
pressing the
player.
button, but
Yeah.
now you keep the... Still taking some chances. And... Zerotio's hand here.
Well, I think
And that's still 16 damage on board, so Alex is going to go ahead and win the game for Zerotio. And just speaking from the caster side, I'm breathing a sigh of relief that I will not have to watch Resurrect Priest play another game for the rest of this series.
Yeah, that was fun, right?
Very well played on Zerotio's part.
100%, yeah.
Those Albatrosses were absolutely the difference. And we saw that Dragon Rider was just holding a Zephyrus and a Dragon Queen Alexstrasza in hand for more turns than I can remember. Just sitting there as completely useless cards.
Yeah, they both came out pretty early, too. Like, definitely the top, 12, 13 cards deck, maybe even earlier than that. That's hard.
Oh, it was an Albatross on 3 and an Albatross on 5, if I recall correctly.
Oh, yeah, for the Albatrosses. Then getting the Singleton cards really early as well for Dragon Rider, so it was just kind of like 2 dead cards, basically.
Oh, yeah, that can't have felt good.
Nope.
All right, so that about wraps it up for our games tonight.
Sure feels like it.
Oh, man.
40 minutes in. Holy smokes.
Yep. And potentially 4 more games to go.
Absolutely. So I'm very interested to see what the follow-up is going to be here on both sides. If Dragon Rider sticks with the Highlander Warrior or switches it up, and she does, and Zerotio brings out his Warrior,
This
which
looks like...
also looks like Highlander. We're going with some control-heavy stuff here.
Oh, what are you guys doing to me?
And with the Pressure Plate in hand for Dragon Rider and a Leroy Battle Mage, this looks like a secret Highlander Hunter.
Looks like it to me as well.
Pressure Plate is interesting. I haven't seen that run even in the secret Highlander lists typically.
Not a lot of secret Highlander lists walking around anymore with like heavy secrets. So I wonder if this is like one of like the older previous meta like heavy secret ones where you're playing all the secret, all 5 secrets and then the secret activation card as well. Be interesting.
Very true. We'll see. And here comes Pressure Plate again. Mulligan it?
Nope, at
No.
all.
Coming right back. Blizzard says, play me.
I like hitting that button there that kills your opponent. Oh, but Dragon Rider plays the minion, the secret.
We might
instead.
see Pressure Plate just as a completely unexpected card for Zerotio, so he may try to play around a number of other secrets without ever expecting that to be the one that comes down. But this looks like very likely Ursatron will come out here and then just keep sending damage face.
Wrench Caliber is interesting there too, so definitely a little bit more aggressive.
We could see on Zerotio's side, though, he could just play the Mummy and clear up the board, but I think he doesn't want to run into a freezing trap, so he's going to also test for Snake, put a bomb in the deck, and try to shut down those Highlander effects.
And with the Horde Pillager in hand as well, so that should do a pretty decent job of that.
Absolutely. That was a tech that Zerotio ran when I remember when I was playing against him in our matches, and he was getting weapons for days. It's quite impressive. And also, he's drawn some duplicates at this point that make it very, very clear that he is not a Highlander hunter, but he is actually, or a Highlander warrior. He is actually just a straight up bomb warrior.
All right, I like that much better.
Zerotio came out here with clear intent to say no Highlander decks allowed.
Yeah.
And on the other side, Dragonrider Highlander decks is looking to be not too thrilled about that development.
It's super trolly of Zerotio. Kind of.
He is already down to 20 health, so there's a lot of damage that he's taken so far. On Dragonrider's side, though, we can see she doesn't really have a whole lot of burst right now.
Zerotio doesn't know that that's a trap yet either. That pressure plate, I should say. Because the spells he just kicked out didn't have a minion to fall on, so.
Yeah. It's a really good point.
More bombs, or if Zerotio elects, he is going to just go with the Tempo Dynamatic, clearing out one minion, not full value, but at this point just protecting the board and protecting the health total seems pretty reasonable. Could see the Griffin here, looks like we are.
Dragonrider being aggressive, I think, is definitely how it should be.
Very cautiously aggressive. Just pushing damage, not letting minions stick, not really giving Zerotio an opportunity to do much. Although, he does have the button, which counters the Hunter's button.
Yeah.
Quite effectively just stalling out that consistent, steady shot, putting you on a clock. Now some interesting options here, holding Ziliax and Snip Snap with a potential for setup. Do you see the Faceless for pressure? And probably not going to attack with the weapon? Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so Zerotio sitting at 13 health. Looking a little dicey. Holding a shield block, though. Could use a Dynomatic as a way to try to deal with the board, but it could create some trouble. And just tanking the damage. Get more bombs in that deck. Zerotio now has, what, 20 damage in bombs in Dragonrider's deck here. Make that 15 left. 3 bombs. 10 left. 2 bombs.
And no Albatrosses.
That's right. The Fairy Dragon's a pretty decent pickup here because it activates Rot Nest and can allow Dragonrider to still pressure the board, remove a minion, put big stats on there. I wonder if we see the Spring Paw too, just to use the mana efficiently. And
nope.
Yeah, she's just sending as much damage as possible on this turn, but still holding back the Spring Paw. So This is probably the armor turn from Zerotio with the shield block.
Hopefully he throws the...
No
Nope.
tomb can hold me.
To go along with the mummy, clearing up the rotten ass
Tomb
drink.
can hold me.
Had to answer it anyway, just because it would have been lethal. So
Marab. Another option there. More bombs.
I mean, it's thing.
Zerotio's got a fever, and the only prescription is more bombs.
the bomb diggity.
All right, down to 8. Is there any way that Dragon Rider could find the pressure to finish off Zerotio here? Snip Snap may just be the play. I don't think you're in any danger of dying with how many cards you have left in your deck. I mean, sure, there's enough bombs in there to kill you, but I don't think you play around it. And you can set up a Ziliax, or just go with the Ziliax now for removal and heal. At least that way, you really can't die, I think.
Most likely. How many bombs we got? 3 bombs, 15 damage and bombs. So yeah, can't die.
Yeah, it's just
Yeah, that's right. There's 3 bombs. So, and I mean, the only way, well, not actually the only way, if Zerotio had a way to remove the Snip Snap without taking damage, he could then push the Wrench Caliber face and hope for a chain of 4 bombs for the win.
So maybe like that shield slam right there.
Exactly like that shield slam. And he can even play the Clockwork Goblin in Hero Power for more bombs. Going with the Warpath. Clearing up the minions first. And then do we see the Goblin?
I think we'll see the Goblin.
I think 12 is probably reasonable to be out of range. You know the Highlander effects are off anyway. So I don't think you need to armor up. And looks like we agree there. Going with the Goblin. There is a chance Zerotio wins right now on... No bomb draws. I wonder if you use that deadly shot just to prevent the capability of... Okay, going with this play. So not pushing any more face damage with the hero power. And essentially going almost all in here. Just holding back a deadly shot.
And Laser Yeti is active.
Brawl's a pretty big pickup here for Zerotio. And that Devastator's going to clear up the most dangerous minion. Could even use the Shield Slam to clear another. May not be the best use of a Shield Slam. Just going to go wide with the Snip Snap to play around a deadly shot.
Put much pressure as you can on the board.
As there.
No, not activated.
Another
And Zephyrus, once again, just a 2-mana 3/2.
Coming to the party late.
There isn't much in the way of health from Zerotio's side. I feel like this might need to be just fully going all in and trying to send as much damage as possible face from Dragon Rider.
There's no reason not to play the Zephyrus, because if you draw through those bombs, you're dead. So, play your
Still pondering. Nope.
Just gonna hold it back.
not sure. If you draw the bombs, you're dead.
Well, look
And
at that
a
big...
huge Ziliax pickup. That is probably going to be winning the game on Zerotio's side. I'm a little bit surprised it wasn't attached to the Devastator.
Yeah, I was just thinking that. Yep.
Healing. But I think Zerotio just wanted to spread out the stats as wide as possible and saying, I'm far enough out of range here.
Yep. That's not going to do it.
And this looks like it's probably game over here for Dragon Rider once again.
Oh, okay.
It does hit the target she wanted. So,
Nope.
still dead, I believe.
Yeah, I was like, I'm not sure if that's gonna help. Oh, Zerotio just trolling tonight. Holy moly.
He brought the Highlander hate, and it's paying off to the tune of a 2-0 lead.
And we get Paladin next.
And the
for him.
last card, or the last deck left, is the Paladin, which leads me to believe that Dragon Rider will likely be queuing up the Highlander Warrior, which should be a pretty heavily favored matchup with all the armor gain.
You would imagine.
And gonna save the Hunter and Mage for last, most likely. We'll see what comes out next. Zerotio currently with a commanding 2-0 lead.
I will fight with honor. Victory or death!
And, well, we see Shrivala in hand, so any doubt that Zerotio was playing Holy Wrath Paladin,
There's no doubt.
that's been answered pretty quickly. And on Dragon Rider's side, we have a couple of good early game cards, one of the best cards in your deck, and a Shield Slam. Not going to keep that Dragon Queen. Going for the more sensible early game mulligan.
Yeah, which is good. She knows this is OTK, right? She must.
I'm sure she does, and even if she doesn't, she'll find out soon
She'll
enough.
know-
She'll
she'll know
find
right
out
away.
on turn 2 when a novice comes down.
I wonder.
Paladin doesn't run novice unless it's Holy Wrath.
Now, to be fair, I ran a lower mech paladin last night to counter warrior with novice engineers. It was a lot of fun. But I was a
Sneaky.
hero to target warrior specifically, so.
I hope you like my invention.
And we can see by all the cards in Zerotio's hand, they're all dead giveaways. That this is indeed Holy Wrath Paladin, if there were questions in anyone's mind beforehand. Every card he plays should be a dead giveaway for Dragon Rider. Although I believe just queuing up the Warrior should have already been maybe enough to just suggest that she knows this is the matchup. In fairness, I guess you always queue Warrior into Paladin.
Yeah. And I'm not even going to question what Zerotio does, because I don't have any business guessing at any of his plays with this deck. Just along for the ride.
Yeah.
I mean, generally, the way that Holy Wrath Paladin plays is just draw. Keep drawing cards, and then draw some more cards. And if the board gets scary, clear it.
And don't overdraw.
No, definitely don't overdraw.
Ten
Or
cards
only
right now?
overdraw
Oh, no.
in
Yeah.
very specific situations where you know it's safe. But I think we're probably going to see maybe a Quartermaster and a Rover come down, or potentially a Town Crier. I like getting the Rover down the sooner the better, just because at some point soon it can just not get as much armor gain for you. Maybe she is specifically holding it to magnetize, though, something like a Ziliax.
So I like it with if you can get the bronze gatekeeper on it, you have a chance to get a bunch of armor off that, or at least some armor off.
Very true. The worst case scenario for playing the Rover, a True Silver, just to clear it.
Yeah.
but even then, I don't think you're all that upset about it. Depending on whether Zerotio runs 1 or 2 true silvers, that would be something that may not do anyway. Even if
To be honest, and the weirdest part of this last year of Hearthstone for me is the fact that not one, but multiple decks have played Elven Archer unironically. It's just something I never expected to see.
yeah, it's kind of cool to see that happen from time to time, where just long forgotten cards get to still have their moment in the sun.
And we're still waiting for Dragonrider to find any lackey other than a Goblin lackey.
That is true. Wow, that must be frustrating.
I think it turned into Donde's witchy lackey there a week ago. That's all he drew was witchy.
I hope you like my invention.
So we see more card draw from Zerotio, which draws a card that draws cards.
What are you saying?
This deck has a very clear game plan, and it does it quite well.
So you're telling me I want to draw cards, then draw some more cards? I can do that. All right.
But can you draw on the cards? No, you can't.
Well, there we go. Oh, you know what? There was a faceless earlier as well because you played it correctly. Okay. So
Some peace and quiet.
That's true. We did see a faceless. And Dragonrider recognizing that the best way to win this matchup is to gain the maximum amount of possible. And just always hitting the button every turn, making sure just consistently trying to get out of range of, I guess, 50 damage from 2 Holy Wrath hits. You also have to account for some Zephyrus hits. Maybe Zephyrus gives Tyrion. That's a common thing that Holy Wrath Paladin does.
get that weapon on board.
I think the weapons project is being specifically held back for either a counter to a Tyrion from Zephyrus or a True Silver. And
Yeah,
since it's a Highlander deck, I'm not sure which one she may elect to do. But I don't think we see weapons project come down until after Zerotio has a weapon equipped.
Yep, I was talking about with the from Tyrion.
Oh, my bad.
Yep, I'll go.
I misunderstood you.
I wonder.
Well, it was very unclear and vague, so I can't understand why you would have been unclear.
All right. I mean, at this point, I wonder, do you just press the button first on every turn? Just like,
Make sure you don't miss it.
don't
I mean-
let yourself miss a hero power.
I mean,
Just
I've done that
always
before.
hero
Like,
power.
the only thing I need to do this turn is hit this button. Everything else is secondary, so I need to hit that button.
Let's see, dealing with the board. Another Goblin Lackey. Better play something to not burn a card. And
Didn't get it.
didn't get the Faceless Lackey trade off. I don't think it's going to matter, but who knows if
Hey.
there's a 1 damage difference at the end of the game. We know who to blame. It's that Faceless Lackey right there.
Yep. About 15 minutes or so here. I'm going to let you all take over for about 10 minutes so I can put Dean to bed, and then I'll be right back.
That's good.
We got you, buddy. No worries.
Let the pain speak to me.
I was saying that specifically to remind myself that he needs to get to bed at a decent time tonight. So
All right, and Zerotio, not worried about taking any damage anytime soon. Literally just using the timeout to draw some more cards.
I'm going to be honest.
Get to my win condition faster.
Be honest. I like both these two people quite a bit. They're a lot of fun. That the decks that Zerotio chose to bring, not super exciting to talk about. Just gonna say.
No,
That's his
these have
bread and
been
butter.
some
That's his bread and butter.
grindy games, yeah.
Yep.
Uh,
And then you have our hat that plays at super light speed. So
Yeah, right.
That's right. So Dragon Rider with a completely full hand needs to play at least one thing to not burn a card. I think we likely see, the trade into the Acolyte to make sure that it doesn't gain, more armor or gain more cards than just one.
Yep. Or the two that I
And as always, press the button. Try to get out of
gotta
range.
press the button.
You know what's coming. It's 2 cards that deal 25 damage to your face.
8 to go. There's a
Still waiting for Shivala to come down.
Shivala's in
and-
hand.
Oh, it's in hand? Okay.
Yep.
Oh, I see it now. Okay.
Yeah, it's been discounted to 6, so very soon Zerotio is going to have that at 0. And going with Prismatic Lens for more card draw. We see a 4-mana Zephyrus, which is not ideal for a finisher. Sometimes you want to try to pair that with the Holy Wrath play and find your final bit of burst there.
Does it also
But-
lock out Tyrion?
Not
Let
likely.
me
I think Zephyrus just frequently offers Tyrion when he's confused, and he's like, I don't know, Tyrion. So, I think also if Zerotio wants Tyrion, he could easily tutor Zephyrus just by spending 6 mana on a turn and then playing Zephyrus with his final just to
Sure.
find a Tyrion for the next turn.
What now?
Such a baddie card, Zephyrus.
And Shrink Ray, again, not really getting the use it's typically intended for. Really just Zerotio kind of getting cards out of his hand so he doesn't, and just furthering the game along to his inevitable game plan.
And Dragon Rider with
Meanwhile-
a project for the armor, I would imagine.
I'm a bit surprised that Dragon Rider just went with the weapons project here instead of waiting on a weapon up first. Being a Highlander deck, that was her only weapons project, so that play might come back to bite her.
Drawing a card, nothing else.
And I think he's going to draw a card with said card.
You tell
Get rid of the Pyromancer right now, or you just... Oh, timeout. Okay.
Okay, and all of the timeouts are now gone. Zerotio cannot prevent a lethal burst from this point, although a lethal burst does not look very likely from this position. And I think you take that shield block every time. More armor, absolutely. Zerotio wants to draw cards. Dragon Rider wants to gain armor. And here we are in a standoff of 2 stubborn players stubbornly armoring and drawing until eventually someone either hits their win condition or the other one armors out of it. Thrilling stuff here in the All right, and we've got the classic Shivala Sath play. Get another Shivala in hand, get another Shivala in deck. And this is another way that can go for his alternate win condition of hit him in the face a lot so that they're in range of getting hit in the face by the Holy Wrath.
I'm gonna be honest, I'm a little disappointed that only one of the Shivalas is golden.
It's down to
I feel
3
like
cards in deck.
Sorry?
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was just commenting on golden, non-golden. I think you need to be crafting a golden Shivala if you're Zerotio.
Yeah.
I mean,
I do quite like the
What
Golden
now?
Sathravar, though. That is pretty sweet.
So Brawl here
So-
or Super Collider? Well, you don't want a Super Collider
Dragon
because
Rider sitting at 52 right now in total health. Probably wanted to find that Plague of Wrath to Whirlwind Plague here.
What
But a lot of options here. Super Collider does cause you to take the 5 damage. Going with the Brawl.
One of the Shravalas survived because BGH as well.
Very true. The BGH actually deals with most options. Dynomatic was clearly the plan in the beginning, though. Just looking to kill any 5 health minion that survived, guaranteed.
Forgot she even had it in hand.
So
And for one turn, she finally did not armor up, although I do believe the Brawl Dynomatic play was significantly better than pressing the button.
so what is it? A 50-50 chance here to?
So, well, currently there's 2 non-Shrivala cards. So if you bank her here, yeah, I think that would be too risky. Zerotio agrees.
Dragon in hand.
And now a BGH could come down to deal with that, or a Siamat to deal with that. A lot of ways to still effectively clear up the Shrivala without taking any damage. Continuing to gain armor. Oh no.
Nope.
I think she missed that she wasn't holding a dragon. Or, yeah, okay. I was going to say, or she just wanted to get some pressure, but no. The oops emote, clearly she thought she was gaining 5 armor from that dragon. So, a couple of key misses here. That True Silver is up and she no longer has the weapons project. The dragon did not gain her. Harrison is pretty good, and you may want to keep it for if she plays a Tyrion, but at the same time, yeah, that 4 could be problematic, so just electing to go with that, getting it out of the way. Think you got to press the button and pray.
Do you play the bronze gatekeeper for any reason?
It's pretty reasonable to just get a taunt up.
Access denied.
It also protects Harrison from dying to the Shrivala. And here we see Zerotio's just going to go for that 2-turn lethal. Because an armor up does not put Dragonrider out of range. I thought she was going to armor up on played the Ember Scale, because that would have kept her out of range, but instead needed to draw armor. Ziliax actually, with the Omega Devastator, is going to help her get right back out of range. If she uses Devastator to kill the Shrivala, attach the Ziliax onto the Devastator, and gain 7 health, go right back up to 30.
You can also use
Unity. Precision.
A little bit less armor. I mean, a little bit less health. Still does essentially the same thing, but also does enable you to armor up again. So effectively still 30 either way.
Yes. 6 of one, half dozen of the other.
It's time to test your metal. Let's stash that away.
Rala. And now we see that Zerotio is going to have to win with Zephyrus. And I think we see the other Shrivala come down for maximum pressure, absolutely.
Plague and
I mean, whirlwind plague.
yeah, I was gonna say whirlwind and plague.
If you Whirlwind Plague, though, you just die to Zephyrus because, well, she doesn't know that Zephyrus is 4 mana, so you'd have to offer a 6 mana spell, but Avenging Wrath does 8 damage to an empty board. So all that 8 damage would go face, and Zerotio would win if Whirlwind Plague was the play. Although I'm not sure what is the play to get out of this.
I think there's, yeah.
You might just have to Desperation Albatrosses. I mean, you should know that he runs Zephyr, so regardless of, well, I guess you could have prayed that Zephyrus was a different mana cost, but we can see that he's going to wrap it up. Zerotio's going to take it.
Your wish is my
3-0. Incredibly well played all the way through. Actually, even finding a win against the Warrior. squeezing in just enough damage.
Wow.
That was a match.
Spot for a potential playoff push.
Dragon Rider did what she could.
Those were some very long, boring games, to be honest. It was just a whole lot of control and stall and so on. I know Dragon Rider is probably gonna be a bit unhappy going back and watching that, though. Missing the armor from the Ember Scale Drake, missing a couple of hero powers. They did missing the faceless trade on the 1/1. That would have actually been exact lethal, the difference there, instead of being over by 1, but just a tiny bit of different micro plays there, and I think Dragon Rider winds up taking the win.
Yeah. Oh, do we have our...
I'm just waiting for Zerotio to kind of acknowledge that he can do the interview. He hasn't done anything yet, so... Oh, he's good to go now, so...
In fairness, I think Zerotio very likely wins one of the other 2 games with that Holy Wrath Paladin, given his expertise with the deck.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
He's coming in. Zerotio.
Hey, congratulations.
In stereo.
Very well played games there. We weren't, sitting here thrilled by all of them and how grindy they were, but you absolutely had a game plan, Highlander hate, it seems, and it paid off very well.
Yeah, so just a little background. Me and Dragon Rider go way back. I think we've known each other for like 5 years.
Oh, cool.
So we both started in the very first in a community together called Legend of the Innkeeper. It was a podcast just for beginning players, and her and I both started in there when we first started playing Hearthstone. So I've followed her, growth in Hearthstone. Of course, she's followed mine very closely, and I believe she was going to target my Holy Wrath Paladin because I'm pretty much known. I bring Holy Wrath Paladin every week, and I'm 7-1 now, so it works for me. It's a comfort pick. Hopefully it'll put us in the playoffs. We'll just have to see. Maybe I'll have to come up with some new game plans once we get in the playoff. No, that cat's out of the bag. But yeah, I saw her lineup and I thought, I think she's gonna go Highlander. Do what?
I said they still have to beat the cat, so you can play the cards all you want. They can know your whole deck if they want, but they still got to beat you.
That's true. And of her decks, I thought I really didn't expect her to bring the full Control Warrior, and so I kind of had to audible. And during the first 2 games, I knew I could beat it because it was Highlander, and I was like, okay, well, I'm my other 2 decks are tuned for Highlander. I said, but during my first 2 games, I was thinking, how am I going to beat this with Holy Wrath? And then I thought, well, if I did the math of 25 plus 25 plus 10, because I would get Pyro off of Zephyrus in most cases, then maybe I can get her as long as she's under 60.
Yeah.
Yeah, you had a good game plan and stuck to it. I think she's gonna be regretful watching the VOD if she does, because there were some missed opportunities to gain some more armor. The Ember Scale Drake was a big one there instead of the hero power and waiting for the dragon. But
the big thing was I wanted to make sure she didn't do the Zephyrus math. And when Zephyrus hit 4 mana, I was like, okay, that's safe. I could still, pull some more damage off of it. And when the board was clear, I was like, well, there's lethal. So
right, yeah. That was very nicely done. We were blown away by the Galakron Priest pulling the Lazul that gave you the option of Zephyrus or Dragon Queen, and we're like, oh man, this is going to be brutal. What was also A
felt bad
big
about that.
swing was the fact that she was actually holding Plague of Wrath, and with the
Oh.
microbots elected to brawl instead of Plague, and wound up taking about I think 32 damage from the Dragon Queen alone that won that brawl.
Wow.
So
Wow.
that was
Yeah.
pretty brutal.
I'll be honest. She should have won that game, and just like luck has been on my side all season with my 1-17 holy wraths, and then I had a 3-5 into a 1-4 into a 1-3 lethal once. I'll take those wins. I'll take them all day long.
Absolutely, yeah, we take those, right?
Those are just like candy after that. So, well, all right, is just gonna tune up the next match. Is there anybody you want to say thanks to or give props to?
Just big props to our hat and the pod people. They've really helped me focus this season. They've done nothing but be very motivational. Yourself, Saku. It's kept me in THL. This has been the first season in about 2 years where I haven't had real life affecting my gameplay, and I think it's really helped that I've been able to focus just on Hearthstone and have the support of my team. So big shout out to the pod people.
Yeah, well, your record certainly shows that, and we're very, very proud of it. As a teammate, I can speak that. So
yeah, and now it's just down to Saku, right? The pod people take the 11-10 lead, so it comes down to Saku versus Quirky Turtle for who's going to take this week.
The battle of the 50-50s, man.
Matchup.
And there is a chance that even with a loss, though I hope it doesn't happen. Oh, either way, actually, whether we win or lose, both of us could still make it into the playoffs.
Yeah,
very true. It's a real
so-
close race with a lot of games left to be played, so it's hard to predict at this point.
Yep.
It's going to be fun. Quirky and I are pretty good pals, so it's going to be fun to play. All right.
All right, well, thank you guys.
Thank you so much, Zerotio. Appreciate it. Great. Congrats on the win today, too.
Have a good
thanks
evening.
for being on our stream.
Awesome.
Congrats.
All right. So this brings up to our next match. We got it's ItsMeMikeV from the Good Luck Albatrosses versus I'm gonna say ZThund from Team Annoy-o-Team. That's one of Dano's buddies. So,
all right,
Mike.
I gotta add these players now.
Yeah, Mike is bringing Druid, Hunter, Mage, Paladin, and ZThund is bringing Druid, Hunter, Mage, Rogue. Both players have decided to ban Hunter, which seems like a logical choice because the Dragon Hunter is just kind of crazy, and those decks outside of Mage look like they're pretty aggro based.
Absolutely, yeah. It often just never really feels all that incorrect to just default to banning Hunter lately. Hunter's been a very strong class.
All right, so I'm just gonna get the guys to start playing here. So, is there any Mage is pretty much your default Highlander, I would think, because I haven't seen or heard of anything else that's been any kind of indicator that things are changing.
I mean, there is a Cyclone Mage out there that's still kicking around here and there, but I would say pretty generally you always expect Highlander Mage. Also, I don't know if you're in communication with those two players, but I just friend requested, so hopefully they add me here so I can spectate.
Yeah. I just told the players to go, so the first person we're going to see on the bottom is going to be ZThund from the Team Annoy-o-Team. So, let's see when they bring their spectate up. Did they add you yet?
Not.
Okay.
Lunara versus Medivh. Let the games begin.
The forest fights back.
Okay, so both players are in right now. So we got Embiggen Druid, by the looks of it, for ZThund, and It is Highlander mage
Nature's
for
blessings upon you.
ItsMeMikeV. So
Ah, hello there.
I've got
got them both or no?
just waiting on a response.
Okay. ItsMeMikeV is thrown out a Book of Specters right now. Just burned a Conjurer's Calling. Now we're just waiting for ZThund is throwing down a Kizzle Roost. Is that Kizzle Roost? Kinder Roost. Jeez. Could never pronounce that.
I see a vision in the
All right. Well, now at least I can see. It's me, Mike V.
It's me, Mike V, so you're just waiting for ZThund. Okay.
All right. So just ended his turn 3 there. Did the book discard anything?
Yeah, it discarded Conjurer's Calling for its me, Mike V. So that's a pretty substantial card for Temple.
And this looks pretty clearly like Embiggen Druid with...
Yeah.
Has he played an Embiggen?
Has not yet. No Embiggen and Breath
No
of...
Embiggen, no side quest.
Yeah, no side quest and the Breath of Dragons, which just last pulled out, so...
Okay. So some interesting options for... Oh, well, that was a quick pick. Going with counter spell. Holding the coin seems reasonable. Countering the side quest is actually quite effective, as is countering Embiggen. So that seems like a pretty solid pick.
Breath might come down. Maybe bad luck.
We must stop this corruption.
What do you pick here? Twilight Drake seems normal. But
I don't know what the options are.
oh, sorry. Okay, it's Cobalt Spellkin is what he ended up picking. So Cobalt Spellkin, Malagos, and then the last card I just said, I can't remember.
Interesting. Okay, and Mike V just dropping the Zephyrs here to try to deal with the board a little bit.
Frost, he's got, Frost Nova. Agent seems pretty weak here.
Agent could kill the 5/2, but it still leaves 7 damage on the board. And you know your secret's not helping with that, so you'd be down to 10 damage if he ignores your Zap. So Frost Nova may have to be the pick, but no, he's going with a Healing Touch. And he's going to polymorph that big taunt. Okay. Still facing down 9 damage, but is holding 8 health.
So he's got Wing Guardian, which is pretty much his only, well, not his only play, but players are kind of playing a little bit fast here, so.
Which is kind of a blessing after the last match, I'm not going to lie.
Can you see both panels?
Yep, I got them both up.
All right, so we got desperately trying to survive here.
Counter spell. Whatever, I
Not
guess,
what
really.
Mike V wants to see. He is in a lot of trouble at this point.
Yeah, it's kind of tough to see how.
Even the attached Zilliax. I mean, I have no idea what's in ZThund's hand, but it doesn't really matter at this point.
Some big dragons
A simple
and a bad luck Albatross.
You just want to write your battle tag in chat there. I'll see if you can add it in there.
Yeah. Alright, so that Zilliax allowed Mike V to survive one more turn. Basically needs a couple more freezes though. And having already used freeze, Malagos is not active, cannot discover a freeze. That heal spell from Zilliax is not going to cut it. This looks like it's going to be game over here.
Yep. Oh, and I didn't transition the thing, so that's pretty bad too. Too distracted. So our viewers out there got a little bit, got nothing out of that match, other than to see the last final play here from ZThund versus Mike.
Well,
V.
it was pretty quick match.
Well done.
This often happens, honestly, in Big and Druid versus Highlander match. Druid can get a lot of big stats on the board quickly, and if Mage doesn't find the right answers at the right times, it gets steamrolled, which is what happened there.
So ZThund with the big Druid win over Mage. Again, apologize to our viewers for my inattentiveness.
Got the ad here.
Valera versus Hazelbark.
Game 2.
Here for a lesson?
Watch your back.
So now our viewers can see that it is a rogue versus druid. Looks like Galacron rogue and another Ambigan.
Yep.
The pleasure is mine.
Oh, actually, apparently ZThund has the maximum amount of brands. That explains why I couldn't accept that. Funny how that happens.
He has more friends. He had to eliminate a friend.
I'm actually not able to spectate him still. I thought I was going to be able to because I saw requests come in, but I couldn't accept it because he's at the max.
Oh, jeez.
The long way.
Strength in numbers. You can see Mike V's though, right? Still.
Yeah, so just a whole lot of
Mess. So double seal of fate, backstab. He's got dog waggle in his hand, and then he's got double praise. And then the dragon lackey with the evil miscreant there. That's his cards right now, Ron.
Gotcha.
Here, I can see if I can
All
do
right.
something.
seal of face hitting a minion. Interesting if you can do that. Moves right position. Face, yeah. I make bad joke.
Okay, I got the cards.
You got the cards now?
So this match looks to be a pretty favorable one for the Druid for ItsMeMikeV, but Rogue does some crazy things. There's always a chance for Rogue.
Sometimes rogue gonna rogue.
Oh.
That was a quick candle
was a
breath.
Wow, I didn't even see what else he was offered there.
Some haze, violet haze, or whatever it was called.
Well, clearly holding some draconic lackeys just said, I'm getting dragons. I'm gonna get the card draw from this. Maybe the other option. Complete trash.
I don't think that's gonna matter.
And now we've got some big untargetable boys on the board. Just what Rogue hates to see.
These are
Scorcher to maybe try to deal with the Reborn from the taunt.
dump some cards here.
On the wings of evil. The
Wow.
Brotherhood shall prevail.
All right,
Just one
going
for the
with
right.
an
I
8-8
can't-
Edwin.
Just plays so fast.
Surprised he didn't maybe just backstab one of his own lackeys before dropping the Edwin just to charge it up a little bit
Just to
more.
get it, yeah.
I don't think the lackeys are going to be relevant.
Now, do you just attack face here and not worry about anything else, right? Because that Edwin's not really threatening.
Edwin does pretty strongly contest the reborn winged guardian here. Like, he can kill the taunt and use a lackey to very easily clear it, but there's a lot of damage that's gone face, and the rogue is in some serious danger. As much as Rogue would like to play that Togwaggle, I think you can drop it.
Like
Gonna have to find another way to deal with what's on board or die. The taunt lackey may come into play here.
You can eviscerate the. Oh, you can't.
Yeah, just what Rogue hates to see.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure we still need to see the taunt lackey come down here on Edwin just to try to make that worm die to the Edwin. Of course, we know that ItsMeMikeV has more rushers in hand and can deal with that Edwin. And you know what's good against Rogue? Untargetable things. Oh, go ahead and have 3 untargetable things on the set him to 5. And ZThund here, again, very much on the back foot, is going to have a hard time avoiding lethal here. I don't know if there's a way. Yeah.
Good choice.
Done.
Not going to spend a whole lot of time or effort trying to figure out this miracle victory. It's going to move on to the next say, hey, it's 1-1. That was heavily unfavored. Let's move on.
Those are two,
I agree.
Yeah, 2 quick matches, obviously, with the Get Big and Druid.
I think they wanted to balance out the grindy 3 matches that we witnessed with just control versus control.
Yeah.
We're going quick games. It's 1-1, and we're moving along. What? How long were those 2 matches total? Like 10 minutes, 15 minutes?
Easy. Yep.
Let the games be.
I think it took like 30 minutes in the
Your
priest versus warrior alone or something.
It took 40 minutes, I think, in the Freeze first.
It was, yeah, the first match was 45 minutes easy. Easy.
All right.
With
And
the-
Mike V's going back to the mage against the rogue. Very interesting matchup here.
Job's done.
This is very close to even. Basically, the decks are looking to out high roll each other. What's going to win? 0 mana cards or 1 mana minions?
The answer is yes.
So I think we see a Book of Specters come down. And he hopes he doesn't discard anything. And
3rd one? Nope.
it works out. No discards. And on the rogue side, a Seal Fate sets up the possibility of a lackey miscreant play. You might just elect to keep invoking with the 2 maniacs in hand. For Mike V, quite a few options. Going with the Discovery, I think you take the Conjurers.
Scorch doesn't do anything.
And that makes sense. Unfortunately, this does mean
Burn a card.
burn
yeah.
a card or use your coin suboptimal. And now seems like an easier decision on Z, saying get that 2/2 out of here. Easy trade. Set up maybe a chain of lackeys on the next turn.
You play. I was gonna say you don't play Luna here right now. It's,
I think Bone Wraith would have been reasonable as well, but he wants to get the secret on. Going with the Spellbender, often pretty useful against Rogue.
Yep.
I think ZThund should probably test that secret with the backstab he just drew. So good against so many potential rogue secrets that could complicate things. But no, holding Galacron, so just saying let's get as many invokes as possible. Clear up the minion effectively with my lackey. Still pretty much in the dark about the secret, other than eliminating the possibility of mirror.
Pharaoh Cat. Or
All right.
go Pharaoh and then Evil Miscreant. Oh, gonna test that first.
A whole lot of things available to do. Now is going to be the backstab test.
Unity, precision, perfection.
The easy clear.
Oh, I do.
On the wings of
Gonna go ahead and discover a dragon as well.
Yes, Sarah.
And
Yeah.
ooh, yep, very valuable card against a deck that tries to outvalue you. And that is quite the top deck here from Mike V. I think he's going to pair this with Power Creation
Yep.
Seems like a
and
good idea.
pray that
Oh,
ZThund is not holding Flick.
Death Rattle. Or sorry, the Beast. Be a big
I
one.
think the Beast is the one you definitely do not take, because if your opponent is holding Flick, then not only do you lose them, but your opponent now also gets 2 3/3s.
2/3/3s. Yep.
Dark in the sky.
And one invoke away from a fully invoked Galakron, just slamming it on curve. Give me 2 0-mana cards. Oh, and that could be a huge Edward. Decides to hold it back for a turn.
Yep.
the Brotherhood shall prevail.
Oh,
Just
wow.
playing it now for the tempo. Trying to contest the board of those 6/6.
I
Shadow
don't know
Step.
if I like it.
He could also, yeah, I mean, I would rather have kept the Edwin back, just because holding a Shadow Step as well, it could get unconscionably huge on the next turn. But
See that
obviously
2 times
Malagos
fast.
could have easily dealt with it anyway. Potentially, if it finds a polymorph. But we also know Mike V runs a polymorph in his mage deck, so maybe ZThund didn't want to commit to a huge Edwin and just have the possibility of it getting polymorph. Also, we see the Conjurer's Calling, which is a pretty nice way to deal with a huge Edwin. You'd rather be up against 2 random 2/2s than, or 2 random 3-mana guys than, say, a 20/20.
Yeah.
This is a nice way of getting some value and pushing damage, locking out the board. We can see that Kronks could easily come down and potentially deal with some of this if he has 1 more damage on either side for these 6 health minions.
You are too late. His return
Go with the
is
Kronks now.
nigh.
Is it getting Shadow Steps? Oh, he's picking the taunt instead of the clear. Just taunting up that board. Okay.
And do you Shadow Step your Edwin? 'Cause
And
have
you can also rush
Yeah.
one of these big boys as well.
True.
And shadow stepping Edwin is definitely another very real possibility here with the board as threatening as it is. You already have an 8/8 taunt and a 6/8 taunt. Could have made a bigger Edwin, but still holding back. Not electing the rush either, just saying this board is enough. Deal with it. This looks like a pretty good Reno setup for Mike V, though. Your minions here, but I believe, what, 16, 20, 24 health is on board.
Unity, precision,
Not going to the reach. Another solid play, though. Using the camouflaged as a mech to get that extra Ziliax value. Couple of effective freezes. Those are nice. The only thing I don't like about that is the taunt's still up, so you can't really push through. But just setting up for future turns, it looks like.
How about a new eye? How about a new eye?
Okay, we finally see the Miscreant come down. And he's going to evolve it.
Hey, good tickets don't compete.
Could be even more card draw.
Hey. Rogue likes to draw cards, I hear.
Now we have an even more effective Reno clear than the previous turn with less trading required. We've got 19 on board.
Perhaps.
So you could damage down to 13, 12 with a ping. Still not, great options for Reno, but could clear up quite a bit.
What do you pick? At the fireball?
Some interesting options here.
Yeah.
Just gonna keep on freezing that board.
Stalling out.
I'm surprised he wouldn't play the Luna first to draw a card with the Nova. Is he just holding back on the Luna? Just trying to set up the full Reno clear the best way possible, I guess. And Kronk's not being dealt with for so long. Finally, something that looks like it's going to get punished here. With a Shadow Step and more big dragon taunts.
I mean,
why not?
That's are good.
Yes, I guess.
And basically the same thing that already happened later. Just big taunt boys. If you're gonna stall me out and freeze my board and freeze it again and freeze it again, I guess I'll just keep making the same board.
Yeah, I mean, I can't say I disagree with that logic.
I feel very iffy about that game plan because Reno is a card that exists, and Mike V has drawn 17 out of his 30 cards. Fortunately, though, he's not going to get punished because Mike V is not holding the correct Reno for this situation. He has the wrong Reno. Okay, and do we see the other conjurers on the Toki?
Yeah. A little bit yucky one, but that.
Oh, that sap is big.
Not the best options there, and the sap is huge to deal with that Cartoot. How much damage are we looking at on board? 18, 20? 20 is represented on board. He would have 10 bursts for lethal. Not going with the sap, though, just punching through. It doesn't actually heal him for anything, so it's fine. Yeah. Interesting to sap the Rover. I mean, I guess the Rover's so bad stats-wise and so expensive that it effectively kills it. And it does have the ability to generate taunt mechs, so not a bad play. And just more 6/8 taunts. How many 8 health taunts has this rogue made in this game? 4 of them? 5
4
of them?
least. 4 at least, yep.
5, actually, because Kronk's was a 6/8 taunt
Kronks,
previously. Yeah.
Edwin, and then the 2 dragons. Yeah, so 5.
All right. At some point, I was expecting we might see the Reno come down. I don't know.
Have we seen the Reno yet from Mike?
Nope.
Because there are deck lists out there that aren't running Poof Reno.
Oh, no, I mean the far left Reno.
Oh, gotcha.
He's still going to hold it back, though. Looking for a freeze again?
Vaporize makes sense.
Not going to find what he's looking for, but he may just have done that play with the plan of Conjurers, the Calicos. I don't know if that's your best option either with Calicos here, given how much stats is currently on the board. And gonna Conjures the Edwin.
Okay.
Looks like he's just gonna die here. I mean, I think he left exactly lethal on board. So I'm not sure what the idea was there, because those were pretty average 3-drop minions come out of the Edwin.
Maybe just trying to get a low roll. Not too many one damage minions out there at that level, I guess.
I felt like there were quite a few different options to go with, and I was very never see the 10 damage to the board come down.
I will fight with honor. Let the
But
games
you know, the rogue picks up the win. You know, just big stats over and over and over. Turns out is quite an effective game plan, especially when your opponent doesn't poof that board. And as we can see, Mike V did not have the option to do so. So ZThund in a commanding lead at the moment, 2-1.
With
And it looks like the mage is up against the mech paladin, which I think is frequently favored for the mech paladin, but the mage obviously has a lot of ability to stall, freeze, board clear, survive, and hope that they don't beat you down quick.
That polymorph is a nice.
Polymorph is a very, very good card to have when you're going up against a mech paladin. Absolutely.
looking for that claw.
On
Right.
this turn, ZThund elects not to coin out the Snip Snap. Just gonna ping. This minion doesn't represent a lot. That is scary at the moment. Mike V gonna throw a bunch of stats on the board. Just coming after the face.
Yeah. Not sure if I would have went there. Maybe Goblin for Mike, but
There is... Okay, he's just going right away with clearing up the minion. I was curious if he would maybe coin out the Keysmith and look for a Flame Ward.
Yeah.
Now we're going to see a Magnetize here. The Annoy-o mod. Skyclaw? Nope. Looked like he was hovering over that. This one is likely the best option because the Polymorph is going to deal with, you know, a mummy. But at least he keeps the Skyclaw with its buffs and gets to keep sending damage.
and being a Highlander.
And now we see the Menace attach. Now he knows the Polymorph is... And just a whole bunch more damage coming face, and this is what makes the Mech Paladin versus Mage matchup very hard to win for the Mage. They go fast. He did pick up that Defender just in time. I don't know if that's going to buy him enough time to survive.
Got
You
the
can see the...
Goblin hand.
Yeah,
handling
the
glowing.
Goba Glide tech very easily deals with this along with the... And we're still looking at 10 damage, which could set him to 3. Actually, if he wants to attach a Snip Snap, he could set him to 1.
Which...
Alternatively, maybe he plays Galvanizer there, the value off of it for a larger Snip Snap burst, but hard to argue with setting your opponent to 1 as a good strategy.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think there's really much of any way.
Done there?
Yeah.
Left play. Whoops, sorry, microphone. Bump my microphone there.
ZThund again recognizes, hey, this game's pretty much over. Not going to give myself a headache trying to figure out some miracle win. Move on to the next game. Tied up at 2. We're going to game 5. All in the span of 1.5 Zerotio dragonrider games.
We're getting a mage mirror here?
Let the game.
And it is a mage mirror.
They already have.
So the mage has been the weak point in these lists so far. Struggling to get a win. And now we have a situation guaranteed to win.
Hey, there's your puzzle box, bud. There's the winner right there, I guess.
Puzzle box.
Puzzle box FTW.
Mike V has been on point with drawing those Book of Specters, though, I gotta say. He's playing a book on turn 2 every time.
That's a good way to do it. Oh, there we go.
And we'll
There's poof.
see if he discards. Best case scenario is what? Draw a Mountain Giant, don't discard anything.
That's a pretty good scenario. Wow.
He does not... Wait,
Play it.
I'm confused.
Why wouldn't you play it?
I don't know. Did he think he was gonna overdraw? You don't overdraw. I don't I'm not
Was he
sure why
worried
he
about, like,
elected that
losing-
option.
A spell?
Maybe.
Is he trying to like save it for after Pocket Galaxy or something to try and just win
Well,
through?
depending on the outcome, if he wins in this series, we are definitely going to be asking
If he
about
plays
that
the Book of
book.
Specters now, I'm gonna be super confused. He's hovering over it.
Well, if he has a coin,
Maybe he didn't see it.
well,
Temporary blindness. I don't know.
okay. If he does manage to beat up on ZThund there.
And ZThund with the good response here. Play the thing that costs 4 mana on turn 4. Always a good plan.
Oh,
I'm
really
surprised
good
by the counterspell pick, given that he knows Mike V has coin and has not played it. I'm not sure. I mean, I guess he might be thinking that a different spell comes out before counterspell because it's being planned for thing. Or it specifically counters a coin dragon caster turn on turn 5, but even then,
You know what's good on turn
you
5?
just get to do it on 6.
That there mountain giant.
Mountain Giant is good on turn 5. 8/8 in stats. It's hard to deal with. Although we see that, and the counterspell pick pays off because Mike V did not play the coin first. Still gonna play the Doomsayer. Not gonna clear up the 2/2. Just choosing to push the damage face. Surprised he didn't maybe try to protect the Doomsayer further.
Well, are we gonna see zero cost Luna?
So, yeah, I guess ZThund is. I don't need this board, but he didn't clear the Bone Wraith. Okay,
That was an oops.
he threw the oops emote out there. I don't think the 2/1 is going to be too relevant in this game that he left it up, but definitely something he would rather had an empty board rather than this minion survive. And we see a counterspell pick in return. Battle of the counterspells. And we can see that ZThund's spell that gives him a spell will not actually give him a spell or remove a minion.
But if I'm
if
going
he
to
elects to
sacrifice
go
a
with
spell,
this.
that's what I'm sacrificing. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, you're perfectly fine with that being counterspelled from ZThund. And gonna throw down the Doomsayer here. Seems fine given the board is as small as it is.
Delay a little bit.
Mike V having held the coin for so long. Zillion Magnetized Snip Snap play to clear up the Dooms. He's just gonna. They're going so quick, I can't even finish the sentence of a play that might, do something. They just elect a different. He's just saying, do your worst on 8 mana.
Oh.
And
See the
those are
Conjure
some
going.
very nice minions to find for 1 mana. I think you grab the missiles and play Alex. And
Oh, didn't pick the missiles.
okay, he's going for polymorph. That could deal with a scary thing for sure. And Mike V says, "Well, I'm gonna get some 1 mana stuff too. Let's go." All right, but as we can see,
You throw the Alex down?
hand that
Just go ahead and
can
play.
do a lot of damage. A Dragon Queen seems very likely to come down on this turn as well. Get some 0 mana dragons. Put a very scary
All
board
out,
out
though.
there.
That coin's
My.
been saved.
A Roaster and an Amalgam. Roaster pretty effectively kills Pilgrim.
And we're gonna
Just
see-
throwing all the
right?
stats out there.
Oh, and he didn't attack.
This feels like the coin Reno turn. If you're holding coin all game, yep,
He didn't
that
attack
makes
though.
sense.
Watch closely. as I make
Yeah,
everyone
he didn't attack with that 5 damage there on the board. A little surprising as well. Maybe he thought it just wasn't relevant because he was holding Albatrosses, but that could be a tip-off that he... Well, okay, that's also a tip-off when you play it.
I'm just along for the ride at this point. I'm spectating.
Yeah, it is tough
Thing that just
to
happened.
keep
What
up.
is that spell?
Okay,
Dark
well, here's a
Prophecy.
1-mana Alex in return. We've got a Zeph online that he's hovering over. There's options for Power of Creation, for Conjurer's Calling. Is he just going to remove the Albatrosses with his Zephyr? Is he maybe going to play the Ziliax with the... Okay, so Zephyrs comes down. Options are Tyrion, Shadow Madness, Defender. Well, Shadow Madness is actually pretty good. You steal the Kartut,
3/4.
you smack it into the 8/8, you gain health yourself, you deny his health, you gain that, and then you could also even Conjurers it.
Cast that.
Goes with
Goes with the Tyrion.
Put your faith in the light.
When Zeph is confused, I imagine
he's
he was looking for the.
I think he was looking for something to kill the Albatrosses.
Yep.
But if that's your plan, you should probably be playing some other things first to get the specific clear you're looking for. Like go down to 6 mana for the Warlock spell. You know, that is a huge power of creation.
painful.
And Reno's already been played, so this board is not going to get poofed.
You got a
Oh
16.
my gosh.
And there's an Albatrosses getting even more health.
Because, you know, sometimes Reno
I
good at
think
Reno.
this is spelling doom for Mike V here. He's going for a desperation power. Yeah, I don't think there's any way to
I don't think that's gonna help.
get out of this. I mean, maybe you play a Ziliax or something. You can Albatrosses your own face, and then even then, it's that Reno spell on the Alex
Was terrible.
was pretty disastrous.
Yeah.
At this point, you might even be okay. Yeah, might even just Conjurers
Do
it
it, do
because
it.
2
You
random
gotta do it.
9 minions
more time.
might be less than 16 attack, but I mean, on average, it's what, probably 18 attack.
It's the only right play.
There are not very good options available here.
Go ahead,
Why
Mike. Go
not?
do it, dude. Oh, gonna make him burst his bubble there.
Get it off.
Yep.
He
Oh, he
doesn't
didn't get the
attack
4.
with
Oh.
the...
The 4/2.
Okay, I think this game is over. Yep. And the polymorph choice winds up paying off. I mean, he probably wins anyway without that polymorph choice, but it was a fancy way to win, and we appreciate fancy.
Yep.
Nope. No
Always
puzzle box played.
Yeah, that was
That would have been very fancy.
that would have
I would have been really happy. I'm actually kind of sad. We had a mage in the Dragon Rider lineup, and we never saw a puzzle box. And then we had multiple mage games with no puzzle box. Even in the Mage Mirror, no puzzle box.
Yeah.
Wow.
So unfortunate, to not find out what's in the box, but maybe next time.
Just asking ZThund if he's able to jump in here for a quick interview. Oh, he's gonna put his kids to bed, so can't make it. Oh, good.
Okay. Well, I guess our questions will have to remain a mystery. In any case, congratulations to ZThund. Very, very close set of matches there. Coming out with a win in the Mage Mirror, putting up some points for his team right at the end of the season. Always a good way to close things out.
Does that put me and Desharmo down for the see who wins this week between us and the Albatrosses, or was it already over? Look.
Yeah, let's double check that real quick. We got
Trying trying to remember who won.
Annoy-o-Team
I know
versus
that
Albatrosses.
I know
It
that
was
our 5 seed
8-8
lost.
before
Our 1 seed
they
lost. I
played.
remember if our 2
So
seed were or not.
yeah, it is exactly down to your match against Desharmo to see
All
which
right.
team will take the win for the week.
All right. This is it's always fun to play the Charmo.
Oh yeah, he's an excellent player. It's kind of
Yeah.
unfair to see him in the 3, to be honest.
You know, I got him last season. I feel confident I can get him again. I'm confident
There you
I
go.
can do this. I have a plan. I think. Maybe I don't. We'll see. But no, I'm gonna. It's I can't wait. I'm glad there's a little bit to it. So good.
Right on.
Yeah. So Desharmo, I know Desharmo for at least 3 years now, and then we're on the same team in Hero. So I've had a lot of fun kind of talking back and forth about the rematch this season. So
That's cool. It's cool how many people in the community seem to know each other going back even before like the most recent THL seasons too. That's great.
yep. Well, this was fun. That was complete polar opposite matches.
That's what I was just about to say. We've had our very cerebral match between Dragon Rider and Zerotio there, and then we had the Speedy Gonzalez, ItsMeMikeV and ZThund type match. So
That's right.
Let's call it what it really was, right? So we had our slow and boring match to start. We had
methodical.
our
It's
fast
not
and awesome
boring. It's
match.
methodical.
It's different schools of thought. You know, one school of thought said, I'm going to figure out what you're trying to do and I'm going to counter it and I'm going to make sure that I set everything up in just the right way so I can't lose. And then the other school of thought is I'm going to play big things. I'm going to get stats. I'm going to hit you in.
Yeah.
It was very fast play. I'm not gonna lie. I was like, there were decisions being made, and I was like, what just happened?
Yeah,
I'm
as
not sure why you did
I
that.
was like coming up with some options for, well, maybe you could do this or this. Oh, they're done. They're already done. They've moved on.
Yeah. Well,
kind
that'll
of watching the stream here.
Yeah.
It is so good.
Hey, there's certain elegance to that. Just you know what you want to do. You committed to your line. You don't need to second guess yourself. Let's get this play down and on to the next play.
Yeah, right or wrong, we're getting this done.
Right.
Well, all right. That about wraps our stream up tonight, guys. I really appreciate you guys jumping on here. So, Ron, this is your first casting debut?
It is, yeah. Thank you so much for having.
Yeah, it was a pleasure. It was a pleasure. So,
Yeah.
Dano's a veteran now, so.
Oh yeah.
Nice.
So I would like to thank you both for joining again, and want to thank our viewers for listening to us ramble and say, "Holy hell, what the hell is going on with this?" It worked out very well. So everybody enjoy your night, and we will see you tomorrow. I think there's a couple matches in Sunday. Just gotta double check here. See, yeah, I think there's only one match, and I think that's being operated with Quaz and Sage, with Super Murloc from DSM-5 versus Hockey Boys for Dad Legend, which is a Hero Series at 8 p.m. Eastern.
Nice.
So.
Yeah, that'll be a good one too.
Yep, should be a fantastic one. So stay tuned for that, and everybody enjoy a good night.
All right. Good night, everybody.
Thank you.